Well, I can say this. A couple of days into the new year, and a lot of wrestling fans, casual, hardcore, you name it, got the shock of their lives, over the past 24 hours. In case you guys don't know, you probably do know by looking at the title, Vince McMahon is back on the board of directors. Now, here's what's interesting though. He's not back as CEO or chairman, the way he wanted it, according to the Wall Street Journal. He wanted to be executive chairman and all that. No. He's just there with these two other people that used to be there. And they replaced 3 independent members. Now, from what I can tell, basically he does have a bit of power, but not much. Basically, he has changed the bylaws to where I'm assuming any media rights and TV distributing deals have to go through him. They have to basically get his final vote, if you will. And already, a lot of folks, from Just Alex, from JD, from Solomonster, who I guarantee is going to say something about this tonight and on his podcast Sunday, and not just them, but OTR Central, a lot of people. I know a lot of people are pretty much fearful right now. They are fearful of the fact that this is just the beginning. Now, Vince has gone out on record in the past 12 hours, several days, months, weeks, when he made this basically a priority of his. He sent out statements and stuff that he's all right with the way things are going right now for the company. He's all right. He's cool with the creative direction it's going. He loves the management teams that are in place, and he doesn't want nothing to do with that. Here's what's interesting, though. Every person I just mentioned that does wrestling reviews, analysis, and all that, discussions here on YouTube and various podcasts, don't believe it. They don't. They don't really believe it. I mean, the fact that Vince essentially is going to be the one that has the final say on how media rights deals and a potential sale of the company go, he will have that final say, and that's about it. Because that's what he wants to do. That's why he wanted to come back, just to oversee that, to make it happen. People do not believe. They do not believe for 1 second that basically that's all he's going to do. In fact, everybody, and I do agree with this, everybody in talent, and maybe even within the offices of Stanford, don't believe that either. And that might be true. That might be true. I guarantee you tonight, Triple H is going to have a meeting, a talent meeting, to kind of reassure everybody, do not worry, nothing creatively is going to change. Nothing creatively is going to change. And he might be right in that, for the time being. He might be right about that for the time being. But you already have folks like Just Alex, coming out and through a parody like kind of situation, basically, acting out, like I said, in a parody mockery kind of way, that they don't feel that Vince is going to just idly sit by and let things go the way they're going right now. He feels and believes, and others probably share the same sentiment, that, that if we come up with a TV opportunity for, Monday Night Raw, Vince is going to change his mind and be like, I don't like the way certain so-and-sos are going. How about we do this for them? And then basically, the way Alex sees it, whatever Vince wants to happen to that person will happen. Like, for example, he could look at for example, he mentioned Johnny Gargano as, someone that Vince would not believe people would watch on Raw, right? He couldn't be more wrong in that perspective, that being Vince, if he was to think along these lines. But Alex used Johnny as an example. And, basically, Alex looks at the fact that Vince would want Johnny gone from the company or put down on main event or back to NXT where he belongs or wherever. Or, as I just mentioned as an example, give a gimmick change. Like to Alex, Vince could be like, I don't mind that Johnny Gargano being on Raw, Hunter. But you know what? We need a character change for him. A gimmick change that makes money. I know. Put a cape on him and he's Super Johnny. That's how Alex feels Vince will basically get control over what gets done. That basically, in Alex's mind, in JD's mind, in Solomonster's mind, in OTR Essentials' mind, that basically this whole, I'm just on the board and everything goes through me as far as the media rights go and the selling of the company, and that's fine, that's all. They believe that that is nothing more than a cover-up. That's what they believe. That it's nothing more than a cover-up by Vince to gain control. Heck, he's taken Alex in a way took it a step further by saying, hey, Vince may say he doesn't like and feel how WrestleMania is being built, and he's not going to allow any media rights deals, period, to go through or whatever, unless he's back as CEO and chairman just in time for Mania. Or something like that. That's what he and others believe. And honestly, I do not blame anybody from people like Alex and JD and Solomonster and all of them. I don't blame anybody from within the company of WWE or the talent themselves. I don't blame them. I don't blame them for being doubtful of what Triple H will tell them tonight in a talent meeting. I don't blame them because they have been through, along with this company, so much BS over the past 10 years, decade plus, that it's hard for them to believe Vince is not just there to prioritize a sale in media rights for Raw and SmackDown and NXT. They cannot believe that. They cannot firmly believe that. Now, here's the thing. Alex always likes to give a timetable. So does JD, of when things will change for the worse. And Alex is saying that he gives it a year, if not less. And he might be right. He might be right that within a year or so, Vince could basically be running things again. But here's why I don't think that's going to be an issue. Here's why I don't think that's going to be an issue. You know why? Because Stephanie and Nick Khan are co-CEOs. The board would have to vote for Vince to take over. Vince could say, I don't like this and I don't like that and everything, and threaten to basically, hold up media rights deals and all that and sales, for the company, media rights deals for Raw and SmackDown and everything, he might do that, but it doesn't mean it's going to get him in. It doesn't mean he's just going to, say, I don't like the way this is going on. No, I'm not going to do anything until I'm da-da-da-da-da. He's not going to do that. He's not, he'll try, I'll give you that, but he's not going to be able to do that because the board would have to vote for, a lack of confidence on Stephanie, Nick, and Hunter's part, but mostly Stephanie and Nick's part. They would have to vote for a lack of confidence and in turn vote for what's the opposite of lack of confidence? A positive vote or something like that. I can't even think of the word. Lack of confidence, a vote of confidence. I guess you could say, or Crescido. I don't know. Basically, the opposite of lack of confidence, if you will. Basically, they would have to vote for a lack of confidence on Stephanie and Nick's part and vote for the opposite for Vince for him to get back in. That's the thing. And yeah, people might say, Vince has the final say. He'll have the majority vote. He has the majority stock, so he'll get in, instantly. Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because everybody's going to get a copy of this filing. Everybody's going to get a copy of this filing, and by everybody, and I'm not just talking the board, I'm talking the state of Connecticut, I'm talking the state of Delaware, I'm talking the FTC, you name it, everybody's going to get a copy of this document, and they will have evidence that this is the only position Vince McMahon and the two people he elected to the board along with himself are meant to be part of. They are not meant to try anything else. And hopefully somebody takes Vince McMahon aside and say, look, we know how you are. We know you're going to want to have control again. Please try not to, go that route and just do what you're meant to do here. That's it. Just do what you said you're going to do. That's it. Hopefully somebody takes him aside and makes him realize that. Because honestly, again, a lot of folks, feel that with him coming back in any capacity, it's the end. It's pretty much the end. And that's about it. And look, like I said, after a decade or so of pretty much screwing up the company, I don't blame them for feeling this way. I don't. I really, really don't. But here's the thing. Okay? There's also something else that I think a lot of people have to understand. One, Vince won't be able to automatically just bully his way, as they put it, to get what he wants. Basically using the position he's now in as a cover-up for, I'm going to do what I want again once more. No, he's not going to do that. Secondly, like I said, secondly, everybody gets a copy of that document. So that, so that way, if he tries anything, they have that to back up the fact that, hey, you're going against what you agreed or what your position was meant to be. And third, you do not think that people like him and these two people he elected on didn't have to sign, some kind of documentation, didn't have to put their signatures down, agreeing that they're only here on the board to facilitate sales, to facilitate media rights? Do you not think he had to sign something like that? Of course he did. And by signing that, WWE's board of directors, the FTC, and anybody else that's involved will get a copy of those. The people that are on the board that represent all the companies they may, that may have stocks and investments in the company will get a copy of that. So if Vince even tries anything, they can bring that out and say, hey, you're going against this. You're breaking the law. So Vince right now, I think, honestly, I know it's justified to worry, to fear that this is the end. This is the end. I would basically coil, if you will, those worries. I would basically put those worries in the back of my mind right now. Put them in the back of my mind. Because yes, I do not disagree with anything people have said of, he'll use his power to get this and that because, he doesn't like someone or he doesn't like a certain direction, I get that. I understand that. But here's what being a long-time fan, now looking somewhat on the outside looking in, this is where you have to coil your worries. He and these two people he voted are only on there to facilitate media rights and potential sale of the company. That's it. It is documentized that that's all he's meant to be there for. Yes, he changed the bylaws so that all media rights and stuff go through him. It does not mean he's going to have the power to do what he wants. Now, could I be wrong? Absolutely. But here's the thing. Everything that everybody's seeing right now is documentized. The whole world sees it, somewhat. So they know that if he tries to pull any BS to try to truly get back into the power that he once had, it's going to come back on him. It's going to come back on him. And I can guarantee you this. This is like I said. He and those two new board members, or reinstated board members, had to sign some kind of agreement. An agreement that will be documentized, sent, to every investor and shareholder in the company, that will be held within the WWE board of directors itself as evidence that this is all Vince is here to do. And that if he tries anything to manipulate his way to the top, they can remove him. They can remove him and maybe buy out his stock. He had to sign something to make this happen. Not just the documents we see out there now that officialize the reinstatement. No. He had to basically, ladies and gentlemen, sign some kind of agreement that by law indicates and proves that he's only here to do what he said he's going to do and nothing more. Again, I do not blame people for being worried. I do not blame talent and those within WWE's corporate offices for being worried that this is just all a facade. This is all manipulation, all facade, if you will, for what his true intentions are. I do not blame them. And like I said, I do not blame anybody reporting on this right now for the worry and the fear that they have. But I think at the end of the day, we need to quell those fears right now. Because honestly, what you're reading right now, yeah, it does put fear in your eyes. It does put fear in your hearts. As a fan, as talent, as someone that works in the corporate offices of WWE, yes, it does put that fear. But we have to remember, this documentation is seen by everybody. Everybody invested in the company, that has a share in the company. The FTC, all of them, get a copy of this. And by getting a copy of this, it means Vince cannot pull anything you're worried about. He can't. Because the moment he pulls that, they can instantly, remind him of what he agreed upon, and he can be removed, whether he likes it or not. He could be removed. Yeah, he might have, a lot of the majority of the stock and all that and everything, but still, he tries to go against what he's agreed to only be here for. He can be removed, if not sued, and that even means by his own flesh and blood. So I do not think right now he's going to do anything. He'll try, but he won't. Because hopefully some people, maybe even his own flesh and blood, will take him aside and say something like, Dad, everybody feels that you being in the position you're in now, it's all cover up. They don't believe that you're not going to interfere. So can you please not interfere in any capacity? I'm hoping Stephanie and Triple H took him aside and told him that, so that so that hopefully he won't try it, because then she'll have to remind him, hey, you agreed, you signed this. This is documentized. Everybody's seen it. Please do not try anything beyond that. Please do not try to attempt to usurp power from myself, Nick, or anybody, because you don't like the position you're in, or you don't like something. Hopefully they take him aside and tell him that. Heck, if he told his family he was going to do this during the holidays, hopefully they took him aside and said, hey, you're going to do this? That's fine, but do not interfere with anything else. If you're only going to be there for this, and this alone, the facility of the media rights and the sale of a company, then that's it. That's all you're meant to be here for, nothing else. So hopefully his family took him aside. And hopefully they also made him realize that if he tries anything, he could get not only removed, but he could get sued. Probably not just by them, but by the shareholders and everything that probably pissed off about this. So I wouldn't worry right now. That Vince could potentially, resume power and be like, Tony Gargano, come on in. Oh, here you go. What's this? That's your cake, because you are now Super Johnny. I don't think we have to worry about that. The moment we have to worry is if we see a recent picture of him in gorilla position. That's when you worry. But I don't think we have to worry right now. Yes, people would say this is just the beginning. And again, I don't blame them after the decade-long disaster run he's put WWE on, if not more. I do not blame them. Okay? I don't blame them. I don't blame talent. I don't blame anybody. But I think right now we should quell those fears, because Vince and his new elected board members, along with him, had to assign something that basically will prevent legally prevent him from trying to usurp power. And that's a fact. And again, this documentation is out there. It is out there, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you believe it or you don't, it is out there. And that's also evidence right there that could go against him. It could go against him. So right now, I will quell my fears. Because he's going to be reminded that he's only here for this media rights for Raw and SmackDown and NXT and the potential sale of the company. That's it. That is it. Nothing more. Nothing more. So, all I can say is this. Like my mom would say in a situation like this. Just gotta pray. Give it to God. Pray. And ask him, Lord, please let Vince McMahon be in there only be for what he said he's going to be there for, the media rights and the potential sale of the company. Just pray to God, do what that ESPN analysis did for Derek Hamill, or that Buffalo Bills player, that Darren guy, whatever his name is, who's vastly improving, thank the Lord. Probably more so than people thought. But do what that ESPN analysis did. Pray. Get on YouTube and pray that all Vince is going to be there for is the media rights and the potential sale of the company, and that's it. Because, again, I do not blame people for being worried. I don't blame you. But I think we should quell those fears. I think we should suspend those fears right now. Because I guarantee there's more to bringing him back on than what you think. And I'm not saying that he's going to take over. No. I'm talking, like I mentioned, he had to sign more than just one piece of documentation. He had to sign an agreement. An agreement that says he's only there for the media rights and the sale of the company potentially, and that's it. And that he will not interfere with anything else. And if he does, he will be reminded. And if he tries to usurp, he will be removed. End of story. But again, I would suspend my fears. I would suspend them right now, ladies and gentlemen. And just let things go. Just let it go. And if nothing does change, and we see a vast improvement in WWE, as if Vince isn't there, as if he was still gone. If we see that improvement, then I think we won't have to worry about anything. If the build to WrestleMania, the build to Rumble is done in a way that makes it feel like Vince is still retired, then we won't have to worry about anything. I say give it between now and after Mania. Because you know what's going to happen, folks? Even now, there's going to be a lot of hardcore, casual fans that will read this. And yeah, they too will be worried and feel the same fears that you do. But there will also be the majority of hardcore and casual fans that will be laughing at you. They will be laughing at you because, you're reading too much into it. You're reading too much into it and you're like, oh my God, Vince is going to kill the company. You know what they're doing? They're laughing at you going, oh, look at that, Alex. He's so worried. He really doesn't get it, does he? Oh, look at that, JD. He's so worried. They don't really see what's going on. They don't understand. Oh, look at that Solid Monster. He's so worried. He doesn't get it. That's what they're doing. They're laughing at each and every one of them because they feel they're making a big ado about nothing, at all, because maybe they don't understand, maybe because of the fact that they look at Alex, they look at JD, they look at Solid Monster. And they probably look at them like, you guys just don't understand, how things work. I mean, there's a lot of people in the comment section that are like, look, yeah, he's back on the board, but legally he can't do anything besides just facilitate a sale of media rights, and that's it. And he's going to be reminded of that, and that's all he agreed to do. If he goes against that agreement, he'll be removed. You see, that's what people are doing. I guarantee it right now. So I say, once again, let's suspend our fears and just pray, give it to God, and just go about our day. That's all I'm going to say, guys. But let me know what your thoughts are on Vince McMahon being reinstated to the board, just as of right now, just to help facilitate potential sale of the company and the media rights for Raw and SmackDown. And what are your thoughts on the reactions everybody's been having? Do you agree that they are indeed justified? Let me know down below in the comments and in the live chat during the premiere. And I will talk to you later, guys. I got to get ready for work.